welcome Lowco Hoops fans to the Lowco Hoops Report special championship edition because we crowned a couple champs from the Lowco today that we knew that one was going to fall short because two were going head to head. So that was bound to happen. One was going to be crowned, one was not. But Hilton Head Christian prevails over JP2 tonight in the Cove, 68-44. It was still a pretty competitive game in the fourth quarter. And then Devin Yard and Maya Hutchinson just kind of took over, just kind of did their thing, and they ran away with it, and it was the coronation for the sixth straight that we kind of expected, but certainly JP2 put up a heck of a fight, and we'll get into that a little deeper. But Hilton Head Prep also repeating back-to-back SCISA 3A state titles for the boys. They beat Christian Academy Myrtle Beach 35-15 today, and we've talked all year about when they get up by 6 or 8, it's almost insurmountable. It was a close game at halftime, really close, and did Myrtle Beach Christian Academy didn't hardly score in the second half.
Yeah,
I forget what the score was. It was 11-11 at halftime, right? So 4 points in the second half. Unbelievable effort by Hilton Head Prep on defense. We were trying to get some of the guys on with us, but they're on the way back from Sumter and stopping for a team meal, so they're not going to be able to hop on with us tonight. But hopefully later this, sometime this week, we'll be able to get them in to reflect on that. We're also efforting HHCA girls, but they may also be in celebration mode, so we'll see if we can get them in here tonight or not. But terrific efforts by both. Hampton County came up short tonight. They lose to Oceanside Collegiate. That game was also pretty competitive late, but they ended up losing 62-46. And then we were also in the Cove. We were in the Cove all day, brother. We just lived there today. USCB women pulled out a great win, 58-56 over Flagler. Men had a great rally at the end, got within 3, and then couldn't get a shot off on the last possession, so they lose 72-69. But fantastic games all day in the Lowco. Oh, we just fought over saying Dylan Kern saying the dream team. But yeah, fantastic day all day. And I mean, it was the atmosphere in the Cove is always great for USCB basketball, but man, having the locals pack it for a high school game, it was intense with both student sections going at it. It was really fun.
Yeah, I mean, this was something rare and special to see here right in our community. You got the JP2 fans going crazy, HHCA fans, of course, getting to celebrate. It's got to be a very memorable one just because, you've been able to win a bunch, but that was away from home. Now you get to win one in your home territory, which is really cool. And I'm sure they really relish the fact that they're able to do that this season and get it done. And just credit to, USCB. We thank them for allowing us to host, for allowing the Sand Sharks to, be the host for this final game of the season. And that meant a lot. I have to travel and you just look at all the fans that showed up, and that's what you love to see. But great to see we're able to get that done last minute. But yeah, it was JP2 put up a strong fight early, but once Hilton Head Christian got to their game, you just knew that they were going to take over, and it was Devin Yard and Tamai Hutchinson leading the way, but there were a couple others. Morgan Scott, of course, exceptional on the boards, but and Kate Taylor provided some solid minutes as well as Kate Langhouse. So they had to use some of their other role players, and I thought they delivered some strong minutes, but it was Tamai Hutchinson, so especially late. She took over this ball game. As it went on, I mean, just willed her way in that third, fourth quarter to powering this team to put it out of reach. But just another terrific performance and a final, memorable one for a tremendous career for Maya coming in just a couple years back. And she was having a great high school career before that. And then coming to here, Hilton Head Christian Academy, just the explosive nature to her game and the way she can just take over at any given moment and light it up on the scoreboard. That's a rare quality to have for a he's a basketball program that she's just that go-to scorer who can just find a way to make it happen. And Devin Yard with her speed, I thought that was really an important factor of why they won this game. But they clamped down defense in that second quarter. They were able to get some stops and help prevent JP2 from getting any closer. And it's just you just thought when the mistakes started to happen for JP2, Hilton Head Christian Academy was going to capitalize, and that's kind of what we saw when they were able to get out transition, use that speed to get quick baskets, and JP2 just couldn't match it because of how well how crisp they play offensively, and then just how well they dug in defensively to keep that lead going. So they was what they do best, and an encapsulation of the team that we've really enjoyed watching and that has dominated play here, and just finishing the job, taking care of business.
Wes was there the whole time. He was there the whole time, but they were having some issues with the broadcast.
Yeah, I was actually I jumped on play-by-play for Buford Zone. So myself,
yeah, exactly.
And
you were you were there the whole time.
Hilton Head Christian Academy grad who I got to work with.
Yeah, Max Araj just reached out this week about getting involved with Lowco, and we got him right to work with Buford's Own. So good stuff. Robbie Benson joins us now as we're checking out the highlights from Hilton Head Christian Academy JP2. What's up, buddy?
Not too much, fellas. Just got back from the game, and it was a nice environment up there, right? They did a pretty good job. Solid day of hoops all day in the Low Country. So nothing. It was a good night all the way around. Got to see a lot of people. And,
it was fun. I mean, there were certainly a lot of people there who would not have made the trip to Sumter. A lot. So I think it was really cool. It was really cool. I mean, you saw Amira and Takoya and Jelena from Bluffton over there cheering on their girls, and you just had everybody in there. It was a great environment, and frankly, I feel like what's wrong with Sumter? We don't have time for that. It's only an hour podcast, but no, it was awesome, and I thought JP2 really played about as well as they could play for the first 3 quarters or so. They hung in there, and they even got it down within 12 or whatever early in the fourth, and then Bobby called timeout, and it was all Eagles after that. I mean, they just turned it on. Devin and Maya were just, that was the problem every time they played, right? JP2 couldn't stay in front of them, and that didn't change tonight really. And they had a plan, and it worked for a while, but in the fourth quarter, it didn't work anymore.
It was Tamaya Hutchinson saying so long, because every single time it looked like the last few minutes when she got the ball, she rushed to the hoop, and there was nothing that JP2 could do, especially when you're going with that transition game and just that speed, those quick legs, and the authoritarian way she just finds a way to put it in, and just dominating over the competition really all night, and leading the way in scoring, getting the official box score at the end, because I was on the call with Javon.
Yeah, it totally slipped my mind. I was focusing on videos and stuff, and totally forgot to go look at the book. But I know Maya had a bunch.
Had to be at least 25, 30, something like that.
Yeah,
it was a good number.
Yeah, I only think. I could be wrong, but I think there was only maybe no more than like 4 or 5 points contributed by anyone other than Maya, Morgan, and Devin, right? So it was
those three.
It was a steady dose.
Your incredible year.
Yeah,
Morgan's that takes away the interior like a storm surge.
And to be honest, they didn't even shoot like from the outside very well tonight, and they
shot pretty
very well.
Poorly. Yeah. Devin
so,
Devin especially she was just a tick off with their 3-point shots. They all looked on the mark, and they were just a little bit off. But they didn't shoot it exceptionally well.
No, so that was another aspect of the game. They got looks, they just didn't knock them down, and they still pretty much shot layups going at the rim,
Yeah.
So
especially late. It was all runouts late. That's how they broke it up.
It was all runouts. Yeah, and a lot of N1s.
Yeah. But it was a fun game. The atmosphere was incredible. Student sections absolutely brought it. They packed them out, and it was awesome. It was a great day of basketball in the Cove. We were there for a long time. Wes and I were there
to end it. And, not only do we get 2 tremendous college games, but then we get a fun high school championship game, which is something that really went for a number of years, and it's been a while since it's happened, and now we get to witness it. So what a really fun experience for all of us to be a part of that, and to see Hilton Head Christian Academy continue the incredible dynasty that we've seen here in the Lowco, and tremendous celebration afterwards. The fans were awesome. Left Hoops Town. As Coach Vidal said, college basketball, it's here to stay. And
it's in the Low Country. Yeah, basketball in the Low Country is here to stay.
Yeah, I think that quote kind of sums it up. And you can relay that same message to these high school teams. And JP2, what a season for them. Kerr and Floyd bringing them for the first time to the championship. Nothing to be ashamed of. You lost to a perennial dynastic team that just had all the answers, and a group of 3 players of talents that you rarely see combined. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. Excellent year for the Golden Warriors, and seniors left in a much better spot than they found it. I mean, talking about Bree Mahoney, Casey Graves, Gracie Henderson, who came over from Hilton Head Prep. What a great addition she was, and that was fun. That's a fun team to cover, and the way that they fought to get here to this, I mean, they made it happen. I mean, we couldn't have had a championship game here without JP2 doing their part and making it. So great to see that.
Facts. Would have been at Sumter at 5.
Yep.
All tournament team, obviously Maya and Dev. It was a bold move making the 6-time state champs banner, but it was a good move. I respect.
I think they were pretty
the confidence.
Yes,
I respect the confidence.
Yep.
I mean, you got to have it, right? You got to have the 6-time state champs banner after the game. So, got to take the picture with it. It's not going to have the same effect if you roll it out in 2 weeks and take a picture of it after you ordered it.
Yes,
that's no good. You got to have it there on the spot.
Yep.
But yeah, the banner was solid.
Yes.
But it was good times. Robbie, I know you were sitting up there watching it with Fish and Doc and the guys from Cross who got them a dub last night. That was fun. So 2 state champions there, and then also Hilton Head Prep getting it done today in typical Hilton Head Prep fashion, 35-15. They held the Christian Academy Myrtle Beach to 4 points in the second half. It was not super entertaining to watch from my car in between games at the Cove, but it was impressive. It just was kind of boring because, I mean, once they get up 6 or 8 and start taking the air out of the ball, man, it's pretty dull. You're just watching the clock click down. Bridgkey had 12 points for Prep and 7 boards. Ben Frey had 9 points. And then Billy Barron had 6. Brendan Moore had 4. But they didn't have to score very much because they just shut down Christian Academy, which had scored 1,687 points in 30 games. Well, minus 15. So 1,672. What's that work out to? Trying to find a calculator here. 1672 divided by 30. They were averaging 56 and they scored 15 today. So pretty solid effort from the Dolphins. Defense wins championships. Yeah. Well, they can also run like 3 minutes off the clock on offense and then get a layup. So that kind of helps too.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
They were phenomenal. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say about that game because it was 11-11 at halftime, and then Prep came out, shut them down, put a few baskets on them, and then they just clamped down, did their thing, and it was all over. What happened to Robbie, by the way? When did Robbie leave? Did we kick him out accidentally? There he is. What's up, Robbie? We accidentally kicked you out. I don't know what happened.
I don't think you did. I'm having internet connection issues.
Maybe that's
of that nature.
Maybe you.
Yeah. But man. I mean, I saw the Prep score too. The 11-11 thing at half. That's pretty wild. I think they're a really good story this year. That's maybe a little underplayed as much as they've been sort of a larger story in years past. Maybe because they've had more of like marquee frontline names, but this team's a team that bought in. And they're system based, and they really kind of executed and had a bunch of kids who knew their roles, and it was all clearly defined. And when you think about, I mean, I would have going into the season, just talking about that region, I would have, had Christian coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that got to be the implosion of all implosions. And then now you're looking at Prep as, a back-to-back kind of situation. So congrats to them. and they look, they still return some kids.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, you lose your three-headed monster and Devin and Tamaya and Morgan. So now it's going to be, you got to look at who's
And you
coming
go
in.
to 4A.
You got to
And
think
you go
that,
to 4A.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I was speaking on the prep boys, but
yeah.
the
Go ahead.
no, that's who I was just talking about. But
Yeah.
the Devin and I mean, that's a whole other thing, man. I mean,
Yeah.
that to say a three-headed monster is right. I mean, you don't replace that.
Right.
That's
Can't.
No.
generational. So, I don't know what you're looking at on the other side of it. In terms of the area, JP loses some stuff as well, but they've got some good young talents, and like Termini and kids like that. So next year should be interesting. Cross will be in the mix as well, and of course Courtney is the one-man show. So and then the Publix, it's kind of hard to tell right now, right? Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, but great season by all these kids, and it's just it's absolutely wild to think the 24s basketball
Fun.
careers
Yeah.
in this area are over. That's because they've been one of those, specifically on the girls' side, but it's been a nice boys' class as well that we've had kids that have been running through here over the last several years. So yeah, it really changes the face of the area because it gets a lot younger really faster, specifically on the girls' side. And then beyond that, you're talking about losing some of the people who gave the region or this particular county or collection of 4 counties that you cover, Justin, like a real face on the regional
Yep.
basketball and national basketball scene.
Yeah.
And that is I can't even begin to tell you how competitive they truly were on the country's best circuits. And so like when you take that into it, and all of them are going to play at the next level. So it's really a special class, and I think that the area is going to look vastly different next year just because you're pulling so much talent out so quickly,
Yeah, absolutely.
Changing the guard for sure.
There's-
And you're looking now the 27s.
Changing the guard, that's it. Those 27s
Yeah.
are ready to come in and start to fill the void, but then we need people to come in and backfill behind them. So,
yeah,
it's
and I think that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. With some of the younger kids out there right now, I think there's more kids playing right now and trying to get serious with it at a younger age, and they understand it's a skill sport. And I think that's a very undervalued. There's a lot of sports. I mean, all of them have their pros and their cons or whatever commitment levels and this, that, and the other. But basketball is one of those things that it really does show if you're not working on it. So with that being said, yeah, there's a bunch of kids here who are highly skilled who are heading on down the road and they're going to play in college, and that's a wonderful thing for the area, and they're mentors and they're kids that are going to continue to help out mentoring and getting younger kids better. But in the meantime, we're certainly going to miss seeing them on the platform that
And that
is, the high school stage.
It extends it to Coy Hayward and Linda Young and all the. I mean,
Oh
just
yeah,
sad to see what happened to Linda this year, and just unfortunate the injury that took place. But man, Coy Hayward, she left out there senior year. I mean, fortunate for her side as well that they fell short the way they did, but she was just amazing. To say one word about her in 2024, and so many others as well who have followed the footsteps of those 3 Hilton Head Prep. It's really been fun to see their careers unfold, and now you get to look to a new group who got to watch them play, and they're going to look to follow their example. So it's a great time to be a fan of basketball in the Low Country, and especially on the girls' side. And I think it's just going to continue to improve. That being said, those 2027s have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Big legacies to follow. But now this HHCA team, like I'm trying to think back. Like I remember Skylar Smith hitting the big shot, and starting the game or starting the streak, and Was that the first
That
one or
was
the second?
2020.
Yeah, that was the second,
So
Yeah.
long
at
ago.
least.
That
Maybe
was
third.
second in a row
It was so long ago. It feels like
before COVID, so it definitely feels.
and that wasn't even the start of it. It was already going before that. That's crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw
Yeah.
Skylar weigh in, and I guess that's the other cool thing about it is it's also a legacy that has continued to grow, right? So like Skylar was a part of it, and she's gone on now, but like she's still like it's still adding to the legacy of the dynasty that kids were a part of years ago. So that it's just a cool through line to think about that 6 straight. That is an uncanny number. And it's probably over, like it came and it's going to go. But it was a really impressive run, man. It was really impressive.
The 4A is going to put a dagger in them.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the thing. I mean, like we were up there yesterday for the cross deal, and then that was, as Justin says, a Donnybrook, and then after that one ended, the 4A started, and the 4A girls.
That was a Donnybrook.
So that one is like. So here's the thing: the Skiza 4A is pretty much as good as anything on the public side. I mean, you were getting to some really good games with, Rock Hill and stuff like that, where you got some great teams. So I'm not saying that, they can go bar for bar, but what they definitely in the by the time you get to the semifinals, it gets to be like, well, those are still 4 of the best teams in the state. Take all affiliation, all association out of it. These are squads with 3 and 4 top 20 kids on them each. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so that was a whole thing. So Christian moving up and all of them and having to play like Lauren Jacobs and Heathwood Hall and things like that on the regular seems difficult given what they're losing.
Northwood and
yeah,
I don't know
first
who's
Baptist
got what as far as Pinewood and Porter Goud and First Baptist, and I mean it all shifts around from time to time, but somebody's always loaded in Charleston and somebody's always loaded in Columbia, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, Trinity Collegiate.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of them that can hurt you real fast. and there's some of them don't, like First Baptist, for example, they don't graduate they graduate Seabury, who's incredible, but they have like 4 other kids that are highly regarded. So, I mean, in basketball terms, you can absorb one of those kind of losses if you've got 4 elite kids still sitting there. So it's going to be tough for Christian. Hopefully, those kids start getting in the gym now and realize that there's a huge legacy on their shoulders and, start getting ready for it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, also you never know who's going to walk through those doors. We do live in Hilton Head, and there's always somebody moves to town.
And now that's in Bluffton with the prime location where you get access to a lot more kids. And you have a coach who's won it 2 years in a row and has built a good rapport with those guys. And it's gonna be interesting because you got Bluffton, Ronnie Roberts is done. You got Hilton Christian Academy, continuing their state championship run. So it's gonna be fun to see like how everything shakes out on the girls' side because there are gonna be a lot of changes and things and moving parts.
New River too. I wonder,
right.
If that job becomes available. Because I believe Jermaine moved to AD, or it was at least
right. He's in the interim role, and I think he'd like to have the full-time role, which would require him to step down as basketball coach. So, that's one of the moving parts. I mean, you got that. You got the hire at Bluffton. You've got, there's going to be some things that impact that. And as you know, there's always conversations happening on the background about, hey, where are you going? Because we're trying to figure out where we're going to go. The LeBron, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade situation.
It happened. What's funny is that I think again, we're talking skill sports that these kids that in those situations where they live in the gym or they're doing that, or they're off-season conditioning or whatever it is that sort of becomes their commonality and their interest, and they develop their friend groups that are really most special to them through that. And
Yep.
all of a sudden they just, decide they want to go play somewhere. And South Carolina isn't like our neighbor to, Georgia, where it's endlessly difficult to move around. It's just not here.
Yeah.
So kids move around, I guess. Although, there is some hope. Like I do believe like Beaufort next year is going to have a really talented young backcourt. As
And
an
a nice
eighth and a
big.
ninth grader. Yeah. So, I mean, you're now talking about like something that could happen over there, which would be really kind of a pleasant rejuvenate that side of the broad a little bit. And you guys, really hit on it. Just the team this year that, I mean, was most impacted was Hilton Head High School with the Linda
Yeah.
Young situation. I mean,
Right.
I really truly believe they had, not to say that they would have taken Bluffton out or one way or another, but what they would have had a tremendous opportunity to at least run a couple rounds in the postseason, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just she was that kind of impact player, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
Maddie
she will be
Kerr was
again
so
here
special.
shortly.
Yeah, you just look at the different plays that went the other way in that Ridgeview game, and man, it just get a couple more boards. That obviously you never know what can happen if one player's in, and
Yeah.
just changes the script a bit. But still, I just think that having Maddie in there could have given him another key resource to get boards and out rebound a Ridgeview squad that was having their way at points in that game. So disappointing.
No doubt.
That's part of it. That's part of basketball and sports, and you hate to see those kids not be a part, especially like your senior year in the postseason, just in the season in general. I mean, this is what you work for, is you want to have that senior season. So, just sad to see.
It's tough stuff. Tough stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, the
I don't think
MVP sponsors. I should shout out some sponsors because we're getting deep. MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports: Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife. She's with Keller Williams, the Low Country, the new Anchor Home Group. She would love to help you put down an anchor in the best place right here in the Loco. So call on Megan Jarrett if you are in the real estate market here in the Loco. Homegrown home inspections, official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his team, the best in the biz. Great expertise and customer service, and they will make sure you are making a great real estate investment. Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports and our original sponsors since 2017. Big supporters of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. So congrats to Mickelson Law Firm and the Eagles on their championship tonight. They can serve you with all your legal needs down there at Mickelson Law Firm. And Hospice Care, the Low Country, official Hospice Care of the Lowco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice care in Southern Beaufort County. They raise all kinds of money to make it such that they can give those services without people coming out of pocket, and they do that by great events like the Yacht Hop coming up May 18th. Limited tickets available, so if you want to get on those yachts out in Wexford and enjoy some incredible food and beverage, get your tickets for the Yacht Hop to support Hospice Care of the Low Country, where it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors, fellas. What else we want to talk about? What were you about to say, Robbie? Want to cut you off?
Don't
Talk
even
about Hilton Head
remember
Prep
now,
and
man.
how they've really built something.
Yeah, Hilton Head Prep, man. That was good stuff. They 4 points in the second half. I just can't.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, and 2 years in a row where they just kind of shut people down defensively. There's back to back. I think, what did they have? Like they 35 points scored against them in 2 championships. They're averaging like 17 points a game that teams are scoring.
What was it last year? Like 20 or 21?
21. I think it was 21.
So yeah, 36 points in 2 championship games. It's unbelievable.
I think that's got to be some sort of, I don't know. Skeezer doesn't have actual record books.
Stricklander basically has a Skeezer record book. He can.
Okay.
He's the one who pulled that Clarendon Hall girls were playing in their first state championship game since 1974 today.
Wow.
Wow.
Also, I found some cool historical data and articles from Skiza Championships of Yore on the Facebook site.
I saw the one about the Marlboro Academy Dragons.
Yeah.
Man, that's a cool name.
Right?
The Marlboro Academy Dragons, yeah. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did end today for Hampton County against Oceanside. They were down 10 at half, and they kept banging threes to just get it to 9 or 8, but they just couldn't really get any momentum. Oceanside just kept answering and then pulled away at the end. So it ends for them in up in Florence again. Still lost last year there in the lower state finals, and Hampton County this year. But man, what a fun team that was to cover, and a heck of a run. And of course, it's Gray against Oceanside for the 2A title, which yeah, there we go. It's a great matchup, but it should be for the 4A title, not 2A.
You wish they're playing for like a classification higher up there than the 2A.
Yeah.
But, I think they made the right decision with what we're going to see in the future, but just Hampton kind of deserved more of an opportunity. Playing against teams that are more akin to their classification. So tough to see.
I like.
But
He's like 5A.
He's
a 5A.
He's a 5A. Yeah.
I love that Hampton County so much, and Ian and all the memories that they put together this year. Just a really special group, and making it that far. Obviously, I mean, there's nothing to be hang your head about when you lose to a team like Oceanside, who should be 2-3 classifications ahead of you. So, I mean, they did all they could.
Well, Oceanside's only going up to 3A, so they must not have as many out of districts as some of the others. But Gray's going all the way up, right? Are they going to 5A or 4A? 4A, I believe.
4A.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think Oceanside drew Battery Creek in their region.
Mm-hmm. They sure did. Yeah, which is not that much better than having them paired with Hampton and them, but it's a little bit better. 3A, a little more fair fight there. I really think they're a 4A school, but as far as resources and talent goes, but it is what it is. We're moving in the right direction on that front. That's all we can say about that. I mean, at least we can say we're making it better. And then Sand Sharks were home today as well. I'll tell you, Robbie, the Sand Shark women, they have turned a corner, brother. They've won 4 in a row now in the Peach Belt.
Yeah, they have. They have.
3 of them against people that beat them the first time around. And today they did it without Janiah Hayward. Janiah Hayward got her face busted open in the first half, butted heads with a teammate, and had to get 8 stitches on her cheek. So she was out for the rest of the game. She's their leading scorer, and they still dug deep and came back and got a win against a pretty solid.
I saw Primo, stepped up, and she's just always been a dynamic, electric little point guard, and it's fun to watch and get people involved.
She's a blast.
She's a blast. She's fun. And she D's up, and she's all of it. So she's been a kid in the area. And so it doesn't surprise me.
It was fun to watch her cook her former teammate Hannah Kale the other night. She roasted Kale the other night. It was fun.
How about Madison Self with the clutch score to tie it late?
Self was huge today.
The foul with 0.6 or so left on the clock, and Michaela Primo calmly knocked in both the free throws.
I don't think Primo got fouled on that. I don't think she was touched on that, but we'll take
Definitely a break.
So what did the Primo Kale thing look like, Justin?
Primo put up a ton on her, like 20-some. 21 in the first half, I think she had that night, and finished with 25 or 27.
Is Kale playing point guard for Georgia College?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, playing not so much point, I guess. She was more like a shooting guard.
Gotcha.
But they were going head to head a good bit, and Primo was locked in that night, man. She could not miss in the first half. She was on fire.
Wow.
But no, they were solid today. They just keep digging deep, and they've won all the close games lately, and the guys have lost all of them lately. They've been snake bitten the last few weeks.
Right.
But I was talking with Larry Bullock after the game today, and he's fired up about the future. He's like, man, we're gonna get a ring next year. So I'm excited to see how they do in the portal
this year.
Yeah, they've been
right there.
I mean, they have, and I mean, what's crazy is that they've really both. Both programs kind of at like opposite times of the year have had real true success, and
Right.
nice runs and
we saw both of
overall,
them start out strong. I mean, they took advantage of, they played some lesser
yeah,
teams
that's
to
right.
strength,
That's right.
but that's what it's a first year program, so you want to build them up as you go along.
Well,
But
that was my point.
Yeah.
I mean, what incredible success they've had in year one, both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, like really, wins and losses are, I guess, how you gauge it all. But it's a really neat little place to go see a game. I mean, tonight it was hotter than hell in there. It was, and it's like, and so it's got like a vibe. It's sticky. It's fun. And so,
It's way fun.
yeah. So I
And
mean,
there's a beer garden.
quality.
There's a beer garden where you can see the court. I mean, it's pretty cool.
What can you say, man? I mean, honestly, they've done a really great job with it. They didn't have the best built-in facility situation that they've turned into really a neat little venue that is certainly a home field advantage, and like both sides are doing well on the trail to and as far as I can tell, and there's energy around the program. So like this is a best case scenario in my eyes. Like they've come out of the gate hard and done great and put a great product out there. Both of them, both sides.
Yeah, especially during the injuries. The injuries that the women had were, could have been devastating. They definitely held them back early in the season, but I think it's going to make them much better for next year and 2 years down the road, because they just had to throw some kids into the fire, and they've figured out how to play at this level and how to win. So it's going to be fun. I mean, Versip is the real deal, and then the lady can coach flat out, and she's got them bought in. They love her. They love playing for her. They're all excited to be here. I think. I mean, you never know until portal season comes around, but it seems like it's a really good vibe on both teams, both rosters. And I had a blast calling the games, man. It was so much fun, and I look forward to hopefully being asked back to do that again next year, because it was I never didn't want to go. Like it was always like, yeah, we got basketball in the Cove tonight. The night games were fun when we got into conference play. But the Saturday games were great too, and the crowds were solid.
Yeah,
got better.
Especially I was impressed with the student section and how much they kept coming back and just really enjoyed the experience, and they're a big part of it. There's a group of fans that were like playing the role of cheerleaders on one of the student benches, and they got into it. They were awesome, and that kind of gave it a unique vibe where you have the community members from like Sun City and others that have shown some good attendance numbers, and then you have the students. You had the baseball student section as well, which was fun. They were great. Once the season started, their availability was not as common, but you got just a regular strong amount of students who got to those games and delivered their support, and that means a lot, because that's been one of the goals, is to get more sports on campus here for basketball, and hopefully we get to see the same for baseball and softball in the future. But this is the potential and the vision that they had over there, and now we don't have to talk about, is this the arena of basketball, or how close are we? We experienced it this year, and that's awesome.
It was dope. It was way fun, and like the game day atmosphere is incredible too. Like kids have an absolute blast. Little kids, like Finnegan is out there doing his thing. There's good entertainment today. They had the Special Olympics. Athletes out there doing a little basketball, playing a little pickup game at halftime, knocking down some shots.
Other than the girls in those last few seconds, that was the last cheer of the night when that guy knocked down that jumper.
When that guy hit that long jumper,
yeah,
man, he hit it from like 20 feet, and everybody went nuts. I was giving him this. I was like, yeah. And then Matthew Rocca, his sister Pascal played soccer for us at USCB back in the day. He was out there, and he hit a shot too, and got the crowd hyped up. It was awesome, man. It was fun. It was a great day in the Cove. I had a blast, and then it was great to see all our USCB people and all the regulars there, and then clear the gym, and here come all of our high school people through the door.
That was really cool. That was really cool.
It was awesome.
It's a really great way to culminate basketball season. I mean, obviously, wish we could have taken the trip up to to the Florence Center.
Florence
But
next week.
this was a perfect way, and this was a perfect way to end basketball season, in my opinion, to be here for this triple header, last 2 USCB home games, and then to see this girls' dynasty get another crown right here at home, where a place where they haven't been able to win one yet, just because it's always been at Sumter, and now they get to experience it in front of what was a terrific crowd, and so that made it doubly, triply more rewarding, I'm sure, for those kids and those students and the community.
Yeah, it was awesome. And you know that a lot of kids especially got to see the game who wouldn't have. They wouldn't have been able to go up to
no doubt.
to Sumter.
Yep.
And so that's pretty cool. I don't even know what this means.
That really hits home, yeah. To see that level.
My guy Libby is he's out there today. He's out there tonight. He's on his own planet.
Love that guy.
But he did drop some Tenacious D lyrics earlier that had me cracking up, and mouthing the lyrics along. But let's shout out some sponsors. Varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports, DDS Web Design, building and hosting and maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. If you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, call on DDS at ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties. They've been doing that for years, and they're on board with us this year to help us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes. Dr. Ambrose Cole is the official chiropractor of Lowco Sports over at Rooted Living Wellness. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Dr. Ambrose Cole, Rooted Living Wellness, and Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor of Lowco Sports and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. And we'll be going live with the Grind tomorrow night, Sunday at 10. Talking about 3 state champs from the Lowco. Houston Rudisil from May River, just a freshman. He's got a chance to win 4. We've never had one of those around here. Gunnar DeGroat got his 2nd in a row for Battery Creek, and Jada Lawrence made it 2 in a row, girls state titles for Bluffton. So 3 state champs, a bunch of other placers. We'll round them all up tomorrow night on the Lowco Grind, thanks to Reverence Wrestling Club, best place to take your skills on the mat to the next level. Those are our varsity sponsors. So I guess let's just kind of put a bow on this season. I didn't do the show in the Skiza voice, 0 out of 10 stars. Do you want me to do like a generic Skiza voice like this, or do you want me to do
it's the guy who does the PA guy,
South Carolina Independent School Association?
Yeah.
That guy.
I feel like I'm back at Charleston Southern already.
That guy does every Skiza championship.
He is something, man.
He manages to get 5 syllables out of scoreboard, and it's unbelievable.
He is like he's a jewel.
He's the guy. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's but the thing is that it's literally impossible to keep up with that feed. And
also
figure
on
out
the subject,
who's doing what.
You don't know what the score is or what's going on.
Thanks. Well, as I mentioned in the last show, thanks to everybody at the Facebook group. First, for letting me in, and second of all, for providing excellent coverage throughout the playoffs, which is very much needed when it's sometimes hard to track down the scores. So
finding that thing was a godsend.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is where you find out what's going on in Skiza. Now there's a lot of folks who, including our very own Stricklander, who really lean into that and are great at keeping up with it and keeping people posted. So appreciate that. Appreciate Buford's Own too, coming out and broadcasting tonight. And Wes, you got to be a part of the broadcast, as well as Max Araj, young man who graduated
first time ever got to call a basketball game. Never done basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
Never done it before.
I've done a bunch. I've done football.
I never had until USCB. Now that you mention it.
Yeah. No, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's fast paced, and you get to call a lot of scoring plays. It's a lot of fun, especially when you get to see both your teams in there, and you get to witness. Brady Mahoney had a great game, by the way. She was fighting until the end, and Majorkowicz,
she's a great player. She's Majorkowicz impressed me. She was not intimidated by the moment at all. I thought she played really well, and I think Evelyn Melnick is going to be a nice player for them too. She's got some good fundamental skills. Good, sees the court well. I mean, they got a solid program, man. I mean, they've been good for a good while now. Yeah, she is.
They've had some down years, which a lot of programs do, and it just goes to show how amazing Christian's run has been. But yeah, they've been solid every year. Like they've had really good players. Maddie Heathcott. You can go all the way back to DeVore, who had that tremendous.
DeVore was incredible.
But they've had some good quality players come through that program, and I expect to see some more too in the future.
Javon says you did awesome, Wes.
Thank you very much.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that for a second.
And thanks for having me on. That was cool to be a part of that, and to, like I said, get that debut in calling hoops, because that was something I've always wanted to do for a while, and it was fun to do it in a state championship game. So it's a lot of fun. But hopefully we'll be able to partner. Yeah, can't wait to partner with you guys again as we get into spring sports, because that's a wrap for high school winter sports, sadly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's on to spring. There's plenty to keep us busy. But it's not a wrap for basketball just yet, because USCB does still have 2 more games
and the women
on
still
the road.
Chance to the tournament.
The women are 1 game back now.
Yeah,
they're 1 game back now.
I talked to Coach Brady about it, but there's a couple scenarios in play. I don't know what the tiebreaker is with Flagler if they tie for that last spot, because they split the season series. So I'll have to look that up, and how the Peach Belt does that kind of tie-breaking scenarios over there. But hopefully they get some help. And for Flagler, I think they play their. Let me look up their schedule. I heard they have a very brutal last few games, but I can check that out.
Yeah, well, they do. I had looked at it at one point, and now I don't know where I put them. But they have really tough, but USCB also has to play Columbus State and Augusta, who are the number 2 and 3 teams, and they got to beat one of them.
True, yeah, you have to win one of those, but
on the road to be able to get in there.
Georgia Southwestern is the top team, and then Lander.
Right,
so not impossible.
Yeah, 1-4. Yeah, it's not impossible.
No, especially when you've won 4 in a row and you're starting to feel confident. Although you got to make sure you're healthy, and we had a player go down today, so it's just.
Yeah, but she got stitched up. I think she would have been okay to come back in the game if she hadn't been bleeding profusely and had to go get stitches. There was pools of blood on the court. It was bad. So I think if they'd have been able to just patch it up there, I think she might have been able to come back in. Madison Self was right back in there, but she had to go.
They lost first game of the year. First game of conference play, they lost 74-67 against Augusta. Why can't they beat them on the road?
I'm with you. They lost to North Georgia by 65, and they beat them. So
the state was also competitive, from what I remember. Still less than 10-point margin of defeat. So they're right there.
Yeah, both of those are winnable games. And I wouldn't discount it at this point, the way they're playing. I really wouldn't. And if they steal one of them and one of those teams goes 0-2, then they're in a tiebreaker situation to get into the tournament. So that was not looking like a possibility a few games ago. So it's been awesome to watch.
It all changed after the forfeit to Georgia Southwestern. They got some more time to repeat things.
They ate one just to get healthy. They were so banged up and just trying to fight through it every 3rd day or 4th day or whatever, and they finally just ate one to get healthy, and it was a smart move, because Georgia Southwestern is the number 1 team in the conference anyway. So if you're going to eat one, eat that one and get healthy, and they haven't lost since. So obviously a good plan. But let's shout out a few more sponsors, and then we'll put this thing to bed. Lowco Booster Club, Court Lifestyle Pros. Low Country natives Daniel and Debbie Court are with Charter One Realty, and they would love to bring you home to Hilton Head Island. Revive Rehab, women's health and pelvic floor physical therapy, great place for the new mom. So if you have a friend who's having a baby shower, a great gift would be a gift card to Revive Rehab. Eagle Creations promotional items and custom apparel, as well as custom gift baskets. They have a great showroom over on Argent Boulevard where you can go check out all the things they can do for you at Eagle Creations. Jay's Barbershop is the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Great place for some spicy conversation. And Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you, no matter the surface. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Go see Max and the team over in Belfair Town Village to get juiced up. Those are our Lowco Booster Club sponsors at the moment. And guys, I guess just putting a bow on basketball season. It's been a blast getting out in the gyms. We've seen some tremendous performances throughout the season. I mean, a ton of 1,000-point scorers, so many 1,000-point scorers this year.
So many.
It's just been awesome. And Matt Smith said to me tonight that Maya scored over 2,700 points in her high school career.
That's true.
Unheard.
And
That
probably
is-
closer to like
That's
closer to like
gotta be
3,000 now.
League of the Elite right there.
That is
Yeah,
unreal. I mean, the
That's
girl
something
is just a
probably we'll see
walking
her out
bucket.
in the next decade plus. I mean,
So
just what she did at
that's-
the Christian Academy, and then add on what she did before that. I mean, yeah, walking bucket, as you said.
Walking bucket.
She has that will to score whenever. Whether it's a jumper,
When
it's a
I-
layup, 3-pointer, she's got the entire toolbox, and I'm excited to see her future, what she does at the next level, because she's that go-to player that certainly when you move on to the college level, it's a different game, it's a different animal. You got a lot of players close to your skill sets, but she is one outstanding learner out there on the courts, and just someone who finds ways to make impacts no matter what the situation is. And you can just count every time in that state championship game. They were able to get her going, and that provided the difference when she was out there. So, really special talents, and one that is going to be missed for her program and really for the entire Lowco. Because I remember when she first came and how excited I was for her to come here, because just hearing about what she did before that, and now we see her become one of the better players. I mean, we've seen a bunch. Brielle was amazing. Dior, Jasmine, Skylar. HHCA has fair share of stars, but Tamaya is right up there with some of the best, and just an incredible career when you just look at how astounding that number is, and what you got to do to get to that. I mean, that's just incredible work, dedication levels that just continue to mount when you go deeper into that career, and then you become that role model for others that people look up to. And I'm sure a lot of these younger girls, that's someone that you really want to admire. But man, what a special talent to be able to watch these last 2 seasons. Then Devin Yard, talk about someone who's come up through the program, and 4 years of championships now. We hyped her up as a freshman, and she's only gotten more confidence in her shot, the way she just speeds down the court, the vision, becoming
so
an elite
fast.
point guard, just an elite passer. And it's been exciting to see her development, and just see someone that's come up through that pipeline and that team, that program, through a couple of different coaches, and just the way we got to interview her, and coming from someone who's a little more shy or didn't have many things to say, to someone who's talkative and just someone who expresses themselves a lot more with their play, of course, but also when we've been able to speak to them, and someone who's become really outgoing and a fun person to get to know, alongside what she does out there on the court. So just a really fun team all the way around, and certainly going to be difficult to replicate what we've seen. But to just back while we're talking about Devin and Morgan, just what I was going to say in terms of my end of season takeaways. We're going to miss that class of 2024, as I alluded to earlier. Linda's a part of that, as well as Decoya, just some sensational careers, and I'm sure there's
Jelena and Maddie, and
yeah,
there's a bunch of them. It was a fun
Maddie as
class.
well.
Yeah, there's
been a
kids
fun
all
ride
over. I
with
mean, Mahoney, Kamira.
Yep.
Kids like that. So I mean, there's definitely a fair share of really, really solid kids that will play at the next level. I think a good portion of them are going to play at the next level, and most of them are really just, and like even on the periphery, Trinity up there at Allendale, and so we're in a situation in the Low Country where there'll be a little lull with the 25s and the 26 classes on the girls' side, but the 27 class is pretty elite. So I don't know how it all shakes out there. Courtney's going to have her way next year, I think, a little bit on the Skeeza side of things, and then just in terms of individual matchups, and other than like you said, JP2 return stuff, Cross return stuff, but that's really what you can count on.
And
Amira
just one more shout out to that Cross team for what they did. What a magical first season, winning that state championship, and credit to that coaching staff and those kids, because there were some times during that year, as you alluded to, that things were getting a little tense in that program, and the way they were able to bond together as teammates and get the job done, really inspirational. So so much credit given to that team and those young ladies. So just want to give them one more shout out for what they accomplished, because that's really something special that you don't really see.
It was a really interesting vibe up there yesterday, because there's a lot. The school itself has got 600 some odd kids, and probably 500 of them are under the age of their toddler status or younger. Maybe that's not quite right, but it's middle school on down. And so it's a younger school, and that's always been sort of their niche in the area, and it's always been a very popular niche, so kids have always gone there, but then they've always left. So you could tell that there was a fair amount of administrators and or people that are trying to make this transition, and work tirelessly and endless hours to try to, promote the school and make it so that there's pride within the community that goes there in sporting events or this, that, and the other, where sort of the rubber met the road for a brief moment in time, and a ton of kids came up from Cross to Sumter. They had a nice little send-off to get everyone on the road, where the whole school showed up. Then everyone was up there for it, and it was a back and forth thing, and it was sort of emotional, and it was very interesting vibe. And so at the end of the day, it's one of those seminal events that may potentially help change a culture of a school. So that's sort of the subplot of it,
I mean, I know they've won some state titles in cross country and stuff, but basketball,
they won it.
Different. I mean, that's a prestige sport that gets you some attention, and I hope that it kind of changes.
And that's one of the things that can really heighten other stuff. I mean, obviously the football program, I'd love to see take that next step, but winning
I like
state
Shaw. I like Shaw. He's a pretty sharp guy.
Yeah, it's just a matter of and with all of this, with getting athletes, with becoming competitive, it just changes the landscape of the school and how you operate a little bit. Not for the worse, but there's there's things that have to be done, and protocols to be put in place in order to make sure that you are on a level playing field with everyone else, right? And so that's sort of what this year's looked like. So there's been a little bit of an uphill battle to get everything up to snuff with how good the girls team actually was becoming. And then by the time it was all said and done, they kind of did their thing, and it was, I think it was an incredibly sweet experience for a whole lot of people. Like I said, maybe it's, a crossroads, which they've maybe, are on the other side of now. But again, there's some really good schools in the area that are returning good stuff. Everyone's going to miss 24s, but Cross isn't one of them. They don't have any. So, now, so you're in a situation where, okay, what does this look like moving forward? I mean, JP2 had some really nice young kids who played well tonight. Termini was great. And
Jorkwitz was good.
They got some players good too. So that was, so we'll see how it all plays out. But at the end of the day, Yeah, it was a
But
good
on the
season.
guys' side, I mean, you look at some of these teams like Whale Branch with Jeremiah Faber coming over. That was exciting to see. Bridges Prep is really gone across all sports. I think they're really starting to find something with that team. And then Hampton County has been the big story throughout the school year of what they've been able to do and spreading that winning culture throughout their programs and all the experiences with what went with what they did. Were just really inspiring to so many. The whole Ian story, the way we got all those viral hits.
It's great stories, great characters. It's just so much fun out there.
And I think also, like, I mean, I wanted to throw a shout out CJ and Battery Creek. I feel like the culture's sort of like finally catching hold, and they're getting younger, and they have some kids in the pipeline that are, really kind of bought in earlier, and so we're going to actually see what that looks like because, they did. They definitely did. So, I mean, I think there's something to be said for, creating your own pipeline and digging your hands in the dirt and developing kids, right? So, so
I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah,
I think that's the only way it really works long term,
Yeah, I mean, so he puts in the time, right? He puts in the time, and so that's like I think all you can ask is that is that your coaching staffs and your administrators and your ADs and all that kind of stuff, they match the energy of your best kid. And carry it on out down the line. So, with all that being said, there's a lot of nice, fun storylines this year, and the off season is sure to be interesting, just like it is in college. There's generally a little high school portal too, so we'll see what that
high school transfer portal.
We'll see what that looks like when people start doing their hats. Picking out, do the hat thing. Yeah,
now that's a fact right there.
Yeah.
Creek's brass section makes that place shake. Yes, sir, it does. It's way fun.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it is. It is. So here, I guess at the end of the day, man, I want to see Buford girls, not necessarily the high school, but the whole area, north side of the Broad. I'd love to see them up there training and get this thing back on track over there, and I'd love to see.
Yeah, because Whale girls are coming back a little bit too. They've got some young talent they like too. So I'd like to see. And
I think that's exciting.
Develop.
Yeah, me too. I want to see them get back in the fray in terms of all of that, and then it'll be interesting to see just how some of these other teams adapt and what they're, how important. It was great to have a 6. Championship run for Hilton Head Christian, but how important is it? Like, because now they're in the rebuild mode. Will they do it? Will they want to go through that? Or will they focus their energies elsewhere? Is there, So we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
The crossroads for them.
Well, it's been a blast, fellas. Thanks so much for all the input and jumping on to, make sense of all this stuff all season long, and hopefully keep people informed in a fun way and shine a light on the kids who are out there doing the work and making the highlights. It's been a blast. It's what we love to do is shine a light on the success of our teams and the student athletes. And shout out to the 3 basketball state champs this year: Hilton Head Christian girls, cross girls, Hilton Head Prep boys. It was a blast to cover you guys, and always great when the Lowco brings home the hardware. So shout out as well to our 3 wrestling state champs: Houston Rudisell, Jada Lawrence, and Gunnar DeGroat. We'll be talking more about them tomorrow night on the Lowco Grind live at 10 p.m. And we'll have Sand Shark Rewind at 8 p.m. tomorrow night with Bracken Lambert getting caught up on all things Sand Sharks. They have baseball and softball today, as well as basketball. So lots to talk about there. Thanks, Rob Benson, for all your help throughout the season. Thanks to all of our sponsors who make it all possible. And thanks to all of you who showed up to listen or watch throughout this basketball season. That's going to do it for the Lowco Hoops Report. For Wes Kerr and Rob Benson, I'm Justin Jarrett. And until next time, go Lowco.